Hello everyone, Bill here from the Attentive Traveler. Welcome to episode number 6, Lucca and Pisa, Italy. The two Tuscan sounds of Pisa and Lucca, near Florence and near each other, make for an easy day. Both cities deserve more than a touristy quickie, and we hope to take the time to savor Pisa's rich architectural heritage and to bask in Lucca's genuine charm. In this episode, I'll briefly connect the dots. Our choices on getting from Varenza in the Cinque Terre to Lucca, as well as getting from the train station to our hotel. We'll then dive into how we decided what to see and where to lay our heads and what to eat. We'll also discuss tours and whether we chose any guides. The Leaning Tower of Pisa is one of the most iconic images in the world. It's likely touristy, but I expect it'll be worth the visit. Many travelers are said to be surprised to see that the famous tower is only a small part of a gleaming white architectural complex featuring a massive cathedral and baptistry that dominates the grand green square that's called the Field of Miracles. The rest of the city is virtually tourist-free, and it merits a wander for its rich history, its rich architecture, and the student vibe. Now, Lucca, contained within a fine Renaissance wall, it lacks any blockbuster sights, but has a charm that causes many connoisseurs of Italy to claim it as a favorite stop. The town's garden-topped city wall is perfect for a laid-back bike ride, the single must-do activity in this pleasant getaway. Now, these two towns are about 30 minutes apart by train, and we're going to spend only one night, and we're going to spend it in Lucca. So we'll use the train to connect our visit to Pisa and then head back into Lucca for an afternoon and an enjoyable evening. So let's connect the dots. How do we get from the hotel in Vernazza to Lucca and then Pisa? Well, we start by walking downhill with our luggage to the Cinque Terre Vernazza train station. It's an early train trip. We're hoping that the train is not very busy on a Sunday morning. And after about 20 minutes, we arrive into La Spesa Centrale, where we change trains to the Frecciarossa, which is the high-speed train, to Via Reggio, which takes around 30 minutes. Then we change back to a Regionale to Lucca, which will take around 29 minutes. And once in Lucca, we'll travel to our hotel, and then we'll have them hold our luggage since that's where we'll be staying for the night. We'll then get ourselves back to the train station for the Regionale at 10:40 a.m. That will take us to the Pisa San Rosare station. From there, it's only about a 5-minute walk to the Field of Miracles. I guess we're going to spend about 5 hours in Pisa, and we'll walk through the town back to the main Pisa Centrale station, where we're going to take the train back to Lucca a bit after 4 p.m. Now, both Pisa and Lucca are both worthy of a full day, but we are hoping that this train-heavy day will let us enjoy the best of both as we make a quick overnight on our way to Florence. So imagine arriving in Pisa as a sailor in the 12th century, when the river came to just outside the walls surrounding the square, and the church here was one of the biggest in the world. And this ensemble in gleaming white was the most impressive space in Christendom. Calling it the Field of Miracles, Campo dei Miracoli, would not have been a hyperbole. The 15-foot lean from the vertical makes the Leaning Tower one of Europe's most recognizable images. Now, one can see it for free. It's always viewable, or you can pay to climb nearly 300 stairs to the top. Now, I'm doubtful that our old legs would enjoy the climb, so I think we'll just enjoy the view from outside. Now, the off-kilter tower parallels Pisa's history. It was started in the late 12th century when Pisa was at its peak. It was one of the world's richest, most powerful, and most sophisticated cities. Pisans had built their huge cathedral to reflect their city's superpower status. And the cathedral's bell tower, that leaning tower, was the perfect complement. But as Pisa's power declined, the tower reclined, and both have required a great deal of effort to prop up since then. Now, modern engineering has stabilized the tower, so now we can admire it in all of its cockeyed glory. The huge Pisan Romanesque cathedral, with its carved pulpit by Giovanni Pisano, is artistically more important than its more famous bell tower. So we'll be sure to budget some sightseeing time for the church's artistic and historic treasures. Now, Pisa's baptistry is Italy's biggest. It is said to be interesting for its pulpit and interior ambiance, and it is especially great for its acoustics. Now, until people started getting excited about the Leaning Tower around 1900, the big attraction in Pisa was its dreamy and exquisite cemetery, the Camposanto. Highlights are the building's cloistered interior courtyard, some ancient sarcophagi, and the large 14th century fresco, The Triumph of Death. Surrounded by well-preserved ramparts, layered with history, alternatively quaint and urbane, Lucca charms its visitors. The city is a paradox. Though it hasn't been involved in a war since 1430, it is Italy's most impressive fortress city. It's encircled by a perfectly intact wall. Now, most cities tear down their walls to make way for modern traffic, but Lucca effectively keeps out both traffic and, it is reputed, the stress of the modern world. We are very excited to relax after a day in Pisa in this sanctuary. Now, Lucca has no single monumental site to attract tourists. It's simply a uniquely human and undamaged, never-bombed city. Romanesque churches and shady piazzas filled with soccer-playing children seem to be around every corner. And even its touristic center, the mostly traffic-free Old Town, it feels more local than touristy. So simply put, Lucca has elegance and plenty of reasons to be proud. All the hotels I have listed on this slide are in Lucca. Lucca is a city of bed and breakfasts, especially inside the city walls. There are the selections of Rick Steves, and I've included one from the Lonely Planet Guide. Now, we chose a Palazzo Pushgadi. It has 8 rooms. It is reputed to be comfortable and pastel-colored, with modern baths and a tastefully converted 13th century palace tucked inside a creaky old courtyard. We were able to secure one night, which was a Sunday night, at the decent rate of 165 euros. Now, Lucca is reputed to have some tasty specialties worth checking out. Cici, also called cecina, is said to make an ideal snack any time of the day. The crepe-like garbanzo bean flatbread is sold in pizza shops and is best accompanied by a nip of red wine. Farro, a grain or spelt, dating back to the ancient Roman cuisine, shows up in restaurants and soups or as a creamy rice-like dish, risotto di farro. Tortellini, the Lucchese version of tortellini, is homemade ravioli. It's traditionally stuffed with meat and served with more meat sauce. But chefs creatively pair cheeses and vegetables too. Lardo di colonnata is a salumi made with cured lard and rosemary, sliced thin, and served as an antipasto. Now, meat, not fish, is the star at most restaurants, especially steak, which is listed on menus as filetto di manzo, filet, or tagliata di manzo, which are thin slices of grilled tenderloin, or the king of steaks, bistecca alla fiorentina. Order al sangue, rare, medio, medium rare, cotto, medium, or ben cotto, well. Anything more than al sangue is considered a travesty for most steak connoisseurs. Ravellino is a thin cut of beef that's deep fried, then pan fried again later to heat it up. For something sweet, bakeries sell bucalato, which is bread dotted with raisins, lightly flavored with anise, and often shaped like a wreath. It's sold only in large quantities, but luckily it stays good for a few days and also pairs well with vino santo, a fortified Tuscan dessert wine. An old proverb is said to say, coming to Lucca without eating the bucalato is like not having come at all. So we're going to be pretty tired out after our day in Pisa. So I'm looking forward to a nice dinner. Now Sunday makes it a little bit more challenging, but I think we'll find something worthwhile. And I've highlighted the spots that we are hoping to check out. Local guides and tour companies offer plenty of walking tours that cater to a variety of interests. I'm going to be doing Rick Steves' free walking tours in both Lucca and Pisa. I've included a few others that Rick Steves suggests. Now, there are a number of licensed trained guides available, and I've included Rick's favorite on this slide as well. Next up, we'll leave on the 11th day of our adventure to travel from Lucca via Pisa to Florence for 4 days and 3 nights of exploration. Well, that wraps up our 5th stop on our Italian adventure, Pisa and Lucca. I hope you've enjoyed this and have found this informative, because if you're anything like me and planning a trip is almost as fun as going on it, then be sure to tune in for all the episodes. So until next time, when we travel to Florence for 4 days of exploring, be well and take care.